success story. Today we have with us Mrs. Abha Ohri, Vice President of Boond, the Foundation School, and Club Group Director of District 124 Toastmasters International. So let's hear her story.
Thank you so much, Rupur, for having me over.
Thank you so much for coming today. So ma'am, where did you start your journey from?
Well, I started my journey a long while ago. After I got married, we moved to the tea estates where my husband was posted. And so I have been teaching in various schools, depending upon the geographical locations, wherever my husband was posted.
So you have always been into education?
Yes, 30 plus years, yes.
Oh wow, that's huge.
So initially I was teaching in schools, but then in the year 2004 we got posted to a garden which was quite close to Siliguri, in that it was about 60 kilometers away. And that is when I decided that I needed to switch from schools into what I thought was more productive, being into the corporate world. And so I joined the Frankfinn Institute of Air Hostess Training. But then what was good about that was...
So what was your role there in the institute?
When I joined, I was the assistant manager in charge of placements.
Okay.
Gradually I was given charge of training, and then I went on, I worked in Frankfurt for almost 6 years, and I went on to becoming the region head for training and placements.
Okay, wow.
Thereafter, I felt that no, I needed to go back to schools, which was my first love. And so in 2014, I joined the Sriram School as the founder principal. So ever since then, I'm going to complete about 10 years.
So it was like a jump from Frankfinn to being a principal. So how did it happen?
Well, to be very frank, earlier, as I said, I've always been in education. So the first stint of my life was as a teacher. Then I came into vocational education, and that is where I honed my skills of being a manager.
Okay.
Because from teacher, I switched to being a manager, although I was in a vocational background. And then I came back to schools, and that stint which I did in Frankfurt really helped me, because schools nowadays have become so corporate in their workings.
Of course.
And so it was more about managing the school, managing the staff, managing the curriculum. So these skills got toned up when I was in Frankfurt.
Okay, so your husband was still there in the tea estate only?
Yes. He was in the tea estates, and he's retired only last year.
Okay. So which tea estate he was working for?
Well, when I got married to him, he was with the Goodrick group. Thereafter, he joined Memsaab, Warren's, a couple of groups. And the last place where he retired from was Warren's.
Okay, that's really nice. So how was Sriram's? Like, it was a switch from Frankfurt to Sriram's. So again, back to education line. So how did you feel after that?
I was like a fish in the lake. I knew how to swim. I knew how to stay afloat.
Yeah.
And I knew how to take everyone along with me. There was no problem at all.
Yes, of course.
What really helped was that the hours were good.
Okay.
In my corporate sector, I used to get back home by 7, 8. Here, I would go early and I would be back home early. So yeah, that was better.
And it was a weekend off too?
Schools don't give weekends off. You're just off on a Sunday.
Okay. So how's your connection been with the students throughout the years?
Oh, I loved them. Earlier when I was in Frankfurt, I was dealing with children who were 18 plus. When I was a teacher, I have taught classes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the whole gamut. And now I deal with children who are absolutely tiny dogs. But somewhere I feel I have a connect. I can go down to any age. So that helps.
Which age do you prefer more?
This age.
The tiny dogs.
18 months to 5.5 years. They get into no trouble. So it's really nice.
Yeah, and it's like having dolls every day in your school, playing with them.
I wish it was as simple as that.
I know, it's I think more than the parents, the teachers and principal are the ones who have to struggle with the kids. The parents are still they still get that free time.
Yes. Parents always come and tell me, how do you manage so many? We can't manage one.
One or two, exactly.
But then I think the atmosphere and the ambience really helps. So we were very fortunate because when I was with Sriram, the management had invested very well in the infrastructure. And even now at Boond, the foundation school, the management has left no stone unturned to give us state-of-art infrastructure which is comparable to anything across the world. So that really helps because children at this age require a lot of space. They require a lot of variety. They require a lot of things to keep them busy. So the infrastructure and the kits, the educational kits, the equipment that I have at my disposal, that really helps.
Yeah, that is true. So you have joined Toastmasters in which year?
2016.
So what came to your mind to join Toastmasters? Did something influence you or motivated?
As a child, I've always been on stage. So I don't know what stage fright is.
Okay.
So when Toastmasters came to Siliguri, I jumped at the idea that I would, it was a chance of going back to where I belonged. And Toastmasters is wonderful. It's a platform where I can express myself freely without anyone showing any prejudice or without anybody passing judgment. And this is one platform which really helps you to hone your own skills. And I think somewhere Toastmasters has been a hugely satisfying and flattering part of my life because it's given me a lot. I find, although I was very confident then also, but I find that, I have grown.
Yeah, there is growth with confidence too. And you get more of it from organizations, these sort of organizations. So was it challenging or it was normal being into it?
Never challenging. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. In fact, I have just returned from the international convention which was held in Bahamas, and the chance that one got to interact with people from 140 countries plus, you widen your horizon, you take in so much, there's so much learning which is happening. And the more you interact, the more people you meet, it ultimately reflects and has a huge positive change on your personality. So that is something which is going rather good, I would say.
What is one thing that you have taken from Toastmasters?
Confidence.
Confidence. See? You already look so confident. So, how did you switch to Boond?
Boond was a very organic switch. So when I was in Sriram, and then as everybody knows, COVID happened, and a lot of things went downhill after that. And then there was the investor who wanted to create something great, and because I had known him earlier, so we pulled it together and we decided, okay, let's open up Boond.
Okay.
So I'm very grateful to the investor who's given me a free hand, and that helps because you can give wings to your imagination and you can design the schools the way you want to, design the curriculum the way you would want to. So
Yeah, that really helps.
Yes, and it's a relationship built on trust
Of course.
and faith. So I think it's great. And again, this which also has been very organic. So what really helped was whatever we had done in the earlier school and whatever trainings we had got, added to that came our own experiences. And so Boond is a culmination of our trainings as well as our experiences, because now we believe we have actually formulated something which is amazing. And it's great to see the children and the parents partake in it. So much.
Yeah. And it's more into activities, like you teach through activities.
I would not like to say teach through activities. I think what we do is we make learning fun.
Okay.
And we do everything in a very holistic manner, because instead of teaching children by rote learning and going and writing on the blackboard and saying, okay, these are the 5 flowers, so please mark up the 5 flowers and the spellings. We do nothing like that. So we allow them to experience, discover, explore and figure out what's happening. So even if they're so small, we do everything with experiments. So my children know the water cycle beautifully. They know that if you heat up water and you cover the bowl with a lid, and after some time if you remove the lid, you will see the droplets of water, and that's the water cycle. So each of them can explain it beautifully, and like that, it's about everything else, which gets explained so well.
Oh, that's a wonderful process of teaching children. So ma'am, in this duration of teaching and Toastmasters, how about the struggles that you faced? Like from the beginning, when you have been into teaching for 33 years almost. So what are the struggles that you faced, which pulled you back, but still you went on?
Firstly, as I said, it's not teaching of 33 years, it's education.
Yes.
The education industry. So, sorry to disappoint your viewers, but no struggles as such. Because I'm one person, if I'm passionate about something, I'll do it. If the passion is not there, no matter what happens, I won't do anything.
That is true.
So this is something I remember when I just joined the gardens, and we had these huge lawns and huge kitchen garden areas and so many gardeners, and I would go and see everybody else's lawn and I would be mesmerized, and I wanted to come and have my lawn looking similarly. And the thought of growing your own vegetables and eating them, this is something we don't do in cities.
Yes, of course.
So that became a passion. And for the longest time, that's all what I did. And I think I became very good at it, because end of the year when we would have our flash shows and all, I would end up winning all the competitions.
Oh wow.
Then came a phase when I got into baking in a big way.
Okay.
So there was a lot of baking happening at home, and I ended up opening a little bakery business where I was making puddings and cakes too.
Okay, when did you have that?
That was in the year 2000.
Okay.
2000, yeah, about 2000 to 2003, we were posted in a garden which was very far away, and there were no schools. So that time, this was what caught my fancy, and I excelled at it. And when it came, and teaching was something I loved. And what was great is that the subjects I was given was English and social studies,
Okay.
which again is a passion. So that was fun. And
So basically you followed your passion
I have been
throughout.
Yes. If I don't like something, I don't do it.
Okay.
And when I joined,
That's why you have scaled
yes,
over and over.
When I joined Frankfinn, I had to drive 60 kilometers to Siliguri and drive
Okay.
back 60 kilometers every day.
Oh, to go back to the tea estate?
Yes, and I would drive on Sevok. So there were nights when I reached home at 8 or later because of some traffic jam or landslides. And there were times then when I felt it was a struggle, the journey coming up and down.
Yeah.
That was a struggle. But then I had...
That must have got monotonous over the time, driving back.
But then, yes, it did get monotonous and it was frustrating at times. But then the end result was great.
Okay.
That I was working a proper job in a corporate setup, something which I always wanted to do, because my friends from college were at these CEO positions.
Yeah.
And I would consider myself as a housewife who all I did was go to school with my children and come back from school. So that was something I really wanted to do. And then my husband was a pillar of support, because there were nights I would come home and say, I'm quitting tomorrow, I'm not going back, I cannot drive. And he says, in our family we don't quit. That's not an option.
So that was a
he
great
was very
push.
supportive,
Yeah.
yes. And in the gardens, we get a lot of manpower.
Of course.
So he convinced the night chowkidar to get my tiffin ready And so that in the morning when I got up, I had to do none of packing of tiffin and things like that. Everything was kept in the car, and all I had to do was just drive. So I've had a lot
that
of
made it
support.
easier.
A lot of support.
So ma'am, what is success to you?
See, success is something which is not tangible. For me, success is enjoying what I do. If I enjoy something,
You have achieved.
I am successful. So I always tell anyone who asks me, if I get up in the morning and I'm ready with a plan for the day, then I'm good to go. But the day I get up in the morning and I feel, oh my God, that's the day I quit. So far it hasn't happened.
Yeah, that's why you're still following your passion.
Yeah.
And of course, for more years to go.
Oh, many more years to go.
So you have children, like how many children?
I have 2 sons.
Okay.
My eldest son is a major in the Indian Army,
Wow.
and I have a grandson also.
Okay.
And my youngest son is an economist.
So that is a surprise for the viewers. She has a grandson too.
And I have a younger son. He's an economist.
Okay.
He works in Fidelity International. So
Mhm.
he's based in Delhi.
Okay. So you're sorted for life.
Yeah, I've always been sorted.
Yeah, we can make out by looking at your face itself. You have such an amazing smile, and that makes you look confident and happy.
I think it's very important to be happy.
Yes, it
And
is.
I believe if you're not happy doing something, don't do it. Because whatever you do, it's not just you, it's the others who are getting affected by that as well.
Of
So
course.
if you are unhappy,
Mhm.
you will never be able to do justice to whatever you're doing. And in the process, you are actually damaging the lives of others.
Right.
It's better to withdraw.
That is a wonderful message. Actually, you should do what makes you happy. So that makes others also happy. So nothing better than that.
And I don't think at my age I am being forced to do anything. My husband is retired.
It's your choice.
Yeah, we are well settled. The children are settled. Nobody's forcing me to get up every day and go to work.
Of course.
Or in fact, even Toastmasters is a passion. So I go back home and then I spend about an hour or 2 following my passion, which is Toastmasters. And then of course I have the Saturday nights and the whole of Sunday to do it. So, and I don't like sitting idle. Because if you sit idle, then you start thinking of what could have been or what somebody else is saying. So
Yeah, when you're working for so many years, when you sit idle, even that time work goes on in your mind.
I don't watch
What next?
I don't watch too much of TV. I don't like gossiping. So I'm not interested in knowing what's happening in other people's lives.
That's why women should be working, so that there's less of gossiping.
Absolutely. And why do we need to bother about what's happening in someone else's lives?
Of course.
So I am very happy being who I am.
And that's wonderful. So ma'am, what is the message you would like to convey to our viewers?
I have a mantra which I tell everybody. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Live life in the today, but live it queen size. Because you owe it to yourself to be happy. Happiness is something you need to work towards. It's not going to come to you on a platter. So work towards keeping yourself and your close people happy. And when I say close, I mean immediate family. You need to make them feel happy. So just work on that.
That's beautifully said by Abha ma'am. That stay connected to your closest ones. So if you're happy, you keep them also happy. Thank you so much ma'am for coming to our platform today and giving wonderful message to our viewers. I'm sure they are going to love watching your story.
Thank you so much, Frankfurt. It's been wonderful coming on your show and wishing all your viewers as well as your guests every success.
Thanks a lot.